As a trainer, do you ever get pushback from clients who are like, I don't want to do a 10-minute warm up, I just want to get into it? Or like, what do you say to them to be able to get maximal buy-in from clients who are doing maybe a longer warm up than they may be typically doing?
I see the opposite. I see people that are told that they're inherently broken, that they have all these pains and injuries that need to be quote unquote fixed before they can go in and start strength training. I see them going 30, 40, even an hour of warm-ups. And you're like, hold on a second. Let's look at minimal effective dose and actually get you the same result in a fraction of the amount of time. Very rarely will I have a client or an athlete that comes to me that's like, yo, I don't want to do this warm up. At that point in time, if they're coming and working with me or any of my staff, they know very well that health is wealth. And that is a portion of staying healthy, which is your preparatory work before training.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, you said overtrained, pecs, biceps, abs, undertrained, maybe upper back, ass slash glutes, and hamstrings. What are some of the, we mentioned rows, obviously deadlifts. What are some of the other like go-to essential lower body exercises and upper back exercises that you like to do?
Upper back, face pull is the king. I love face pulls. I like them from different angles with different training tools, with different hand positions, with different lower body positions. The more face pulls, the better. It essentially reverses the exact position that you would be in if you're on your cell phone texting right now. And that one's a beauty. You can work that in a lot too, 3, 4, 5 days a week, even up to 7 days a week, especially if you cycle between heavier days and lighter days. Maybe it's a stack on the cable and a light band. But in terms of lower body, working the glutes and the hamstrings directly is a really big ROI in terms of your training, exercise selection, and volume distribution. So things along the lines of hip thrusts, glute bridges, hamstring curls, those really add up. Things like back extensions, those are the ones that will definitely move the needle. But you can't neglect some of those lower body movement patterns like the hip hinges. It's not just the deadlifts, but it's the RDLs, the Romanian deadlifts, being able to mobilize the hamstrings, work the pure hip hinge pattern, and then obviously move out into single leg work as well, whether that be lateral lunges, single leg RDLs. There's so many great options. The key is just finding what works for you, that you can train hard, you can go heavy, you can get a stimulatory training effect, and then being able to build your arsenal of quality movements that you're confident and competent in.
I love it. I want to talk about doing like the barbell deadlift, for example. Is there a minimal required strength that you look for somebody before like bringing them to a barbell deadlift, or is it mainly about having the proper technique from the hip hinge pattern? Because I mean, obviously the barbell deadlift can go to as light as 45 pounds unless you have a lighter bar, and goes down to like 35 pounds or so. But is there something, I guess, is there a prerequisite before you go into a barbell deadlift with somebody, combination of movement pattern and strength?
Yeah, there's no absolute strength prerequisite for barbell deadlifting. Relative strength is going to be something in the mix. A 100-pound lady versus a 300-pound guy are going to have two totally different strength capacities. But I'm more worried, or I'm more cognizant of being able to have the motor skills to be able to set a client or yourself up for success with the pattern. And that really goes in on a progression scale of how we would build the hip hinge. You would go from an isolated hip hinge, something like hamstring curling, glute bridging, hip thrusting, into introducing something with a horizontal force vector, something like a pull through or a horizontal hip thrust, and then going in and introducing the compound pattern from the top down, meaning that you start in a neutral position, whether it be a dumbbell, kettlebells, a barbell, and you're actually going down through that extended range of motion with a neutral spine position, with the pelvis and hips that are actually translating posteriorly towards the back. And that looks really good, and you're getting strong, and you're getting all the gains from that. The step up from there, from an RDL top down, would be something that takes center of mass into play, which is trap bar deadlift off the high handle. One of my favorite exercises that are extremely accessible for almost every single person. And at that point in time, when somebody's looking awesome, their strength metrics are going up, their form is locked in, and they're having the want to go to a barbell deadlift. That's not everybody. We don't actually go right to a barbell deadlift from there. We'll go to a barbell rack pull or a barbell block pull, which will manipulate the range of motion to make it more accessible for their unique needs, body type, joint type, anthropometrics at the hips, the shoulders, and spine. And then we get to the top of that pyramid. If it is a needs or a wants thing for people, maybe they want to go in and power lift. Maybe they're just really super psyched about doing a barbell deadlift off the floor. Then we'll be able to access that, having earned the right to get up to that level 5.
I love that. I love that progression.